Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Sea of Souls live stream campaign. We are back from our summer hiatus where we played some really cool games. Actually, we had a lot of fun stuff that we were doing. If you missed any of that,
we didn't play Shanty Hunter.
We haven't played Shanty Hunter, but that we'll get to that next time. But check out the VODs on our YouTube channel. We've got some Quiet Year on there. We've got some Lasers and Feelings, some Super Normal. We've been doing a lot of fun stuff. So please check it out. We did do a Jackbox game episode as well, sort of a community night. We didn't post that one because that one is more of just a kind of a you're part of our Discord and hang out.
You had to be there.
Stuff. You did have to be there. But we had some really good interaction from our Discord servers. So if you want to hang out and play games with us next time we do that, then do join our Discord and you can be involved in our Jackbox and other party game nights when we do those. But we are back with our live stream D&D campaign. This is sort of the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes and other food analogies of what we do. It's been a bit of a break. We are going to be starting after a little bit of a skip in time, not too much. We're not talking like a year later, but maybe about a few days or a week or so where we left off. There's a few things we've kind of moved forward behind the scenes, if you will, off screen, just to kind of line things up for where this next chapter, if you will, is going to start. And sort of that's how I'm treating it, at least, that this is kind of the next chapter, part 2 of our campaign. As we ended with a bit of a climactic battle, some pretty climactic events happening before our break, and so it's a good chance or a good spot for us to kind of pick up and start the next leg of things. A couple of announcements that I have. We are going to be releasing another edition of Brainstorm, likely end of September. And to give a bit of a heads up, we're going to be doing some fun monster stuff for this edition. It's going to be lots of cool hybrid monsters and things like that. So that will be coming end of September. Look forward to that. We'll be posting some info as we get into it. And I'm excited. I'm excited anytime we get to just like goof off and play around with stuff and mess with creatures. So that is going to be coming out. Starting tonight, we've got 2 new mechanics. Not like car mechanics, but game mechanics, in-game mechanics that we are going to be plugging in. And we're going to be doing a live play test of these. So this is something that we're going to have some fun with. And if you have any feedback on what you see, if you like what you see, then by all means, let us know. And you can do that in chat, or you can join us in our Discord and give us feedback on that as well. One of them is going to be initiative. We're tweaking initiative a little bit because, let's face it, just rolling your dexterity for initiative is boring. So we're going to play with it a little bit and make initiative a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more involved, and it lets the characters get a little bit more creative in things they want to do to start combat, not just in combat. And then we are also introducing something called Chaos Dice. And this is going to be a fun little mechanic that ties specifically into sort of the chaos, the Ataxian magic, the fractured elements of this campaign. And it is also going to allow the characters to do some extra little stuff, but not for free. There is always potentially a cost, which is going to be random because that's how chaos works. And we will have some fun with that and see what transpires. So that is it for announcements that I have. Does anybody have anything they want to plug? Anything to announce?
Everyone go buy Shanty Hunters. It's amazing.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
But we really should be.
We should be. But we were
to make something happen, you know?
Don't buy Spelljammer, go buy Shanty Hunters.
There you go. Shanty Jammer. We've been promised a new selection of shanties from Devin for Kalen. He's got more resources now, so we look forward to that. Add some new ones into the mix there. Yeah. If there is nothing else to announce, I guess I'll just say now that we will be off for Labor Day weekend because holiday weekend. I'll be doing things with family and people will be doing stuff. So we will not stream that week, but we will be kind of back into the swing of things regularly, hopefully. And any week that we don't have sort of a regular campaign for whatever reasons, we have got a whole selection of one-shots we can run now from various members of the crew. So we'll try to always put something out and hopefully it's stuff that you guys enjoy. Check out our socials. I think the link is below me now. I'm always used to pointing up there.
Bottom left-hand corner.
We've got brand new layouts thanks to Mike. Mike, our artiste, has made some really cool, nice and clean layouts. I'm really liking it and digging it. So it's down there. Check out our link tree and all the socials and do the stuff. And follow us here because we want to get that follow count up to 50 so that we can be awesome and then reward awesomeness. So do that. Do all the things. And yeah, hang out with us in all the places. That is it. So without further ado, let's weigh anchor.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Way oh the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho the sea of souls. Way oh the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
now. Yay, technology. So when we left off, it was kind of climactic element, and I do recall going back and watching the episode that we were supposed to have one more episode before we took our break, but due to scheduling and stuff, that did not happen, which is one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to move things forward a little bit. So I will give a bit of a brief recap. If you want more of a full recap, go back and watch the VODs of the previous episode. That's the best way to get caught up with what is happening, because there's a lot that goes on, and it's hard to capture, to encapsulate the full weight and gravitas of everything. But nonetheless, what's that?
I'm just saying that's how we trick them into watching more.
That's how we get you.
Episodes.
That's right. Yeah. Unlike modern TV, which shows you like literally the entire show in the previews, I feel like half the time, we like to keep you guessing. So we left off with the death of a sky titan, the rock known as Tirnanak, had fallen to the stones, crashing amongst the shipwreck that you had been sent to salvage. After killing this magnificent and monstrous creature, you did a little bit of harvesting of the rock and managed to come away with some useful and rare elements harvested from a rock. Things which might fetch a price in certain markets or be useful in other ways. The feathers, the gullets, other parts of giant beasts can be sold in many places, or used for spell components or rituals or other things. And it seemed a perfect opportunity to do a little bit of gathering for yourselves. You managed to salvage most of what you had found, losing only a keg of whiskey and gunpowder, but everything else, including the residuum and the platinum ingots and all the magical items, you managed to save and bring back to the Radiant Dawn with you. Returning to the Radiant Dawn, you discovered that it had been in a little bit of a gunfight with some other ships, but thanks to your crew, your cannons on board, and the not insignificant help of a handful of wizards from the Spire who have joined you aboard your ship as refugees, the Radiant Dawn was able to more than hold its own, and essentially sinking all three ships that were attacking it, to the point of being unable to recognize them, however, and being able to figure out who sent them. But they were fairly small ships, nothing large, possibly from the locals, possibly pirates kind of skulking around the area, bandit smugglers, uncertain. Returning to Tyr, you found the city in even more of a dire situation than when you left it. Streets abandoned, guards nowhere to be seen, windows boarded up. You decided to head right for your salvage. What's the word I'm looking for? Proprietor? Hiring? The person who hired you, employer.
Salvage
That's
merchant?
the word I'm looking for. Salvage merchant. And upon arriving at Master Palgrave's, you found it boarded up as well. Having a bit of a brief discussion at the door, you were welcomed in to discuss the salvage, but were rapidly met with mechanical crossbows and Palgrave himself holding a musket rifle from behind a false panel. Once you revealed to him the amount of salvage that you had recovered, the thousands of platinum ingots and residuum and all the like, he tried to take it from you by force, and quickly realized how much of a mistake that was, as you handedly destroyed all of his equipment, busted down the wall that he was hiding behind, and held him to account, giving him the option to aid you. he begged to be simply let out of town. He didn't want to be here anymore. He had figured that it was time for him to find another place of employment, another city. And so leaving him with nothing but a rowboat and sending him on his way, that was the fate of Palgrave. Leaving you with the entire hull, which was going to be split, but is now 100% in your possession.
Rich.
What remains for you to determine is how best to help Untitled, if help you are going to do. You know that Vale was last seen entering the crypts in Hightown in search of something. Hightown itself is completely overrun with undead. Seems that the nobles there met a rather unfortunate fate. And while they still dwell there, can't exactly say that they live there any longer. Danica, the current high priestess of Desfuna being dead, as you yourselves know, with the spark, her divine spark residing within Torque, has regularly come down from the temple into the town to, preach that everybody has patience and hold fast belief, but doesn't really seem to be doing anything to help. Whenever she's questioned about, what people are to do or what she's doing, she takes that opportunity to retreat back to the temple, and she's always got a contingent of temple guards with her. Millie, the street urchin that Flick had met before, has informed you that there is a resistance gathering in some of the old sewers and catacombs beneath the city. Refugees, people who, afraid of what is happening on the surface, unable to defend themselves, have retreated there. Food is scarce. The situation is dire, with the guards all but abandoning their posts. In more ways than one, Valtear is a ghost town. Gentlemen, you find yourself at a crossroads. Do you stay? Do you confront Danica, perhaps? Attempt to confront Lord Vale himself in the crypts? Do you leave? Potential options include sailing east or going north. Torque having been given the task or the mission, as it were, of carrying Desfuna's spark to her sanctuary deep below the northern seas. You have options, but not necessarily a lot of time as things continue to grow dire. And so as you, for the moment, have boarded back on the Radiant Dawn, which is in port, having spoken to Kamari, who sent a message to your Griffinware barbarian friend that you had made, perhaps seeking aid from the Griffin Riders themselves, you were informed that they're unable to help you at the moment. But you have your crew, you have the wizards, and you have a moment of reprieve as you decide what to do next. And so I turn it over to you. Currently, you are in the large galley on the ship, having been discussing the well that you had found below the city, knowing that Vale has his interests set on it, was hoping to tap into its power to increase his own strength. You know that he had been unable to reach it thanks to wards that had been placed there. The well probably can't be destroyed, but it is still there as an option for him to use should he be able to lay his hands on it. Now, as you close out this discussion or come to the end of the current discussion, there's a momentary silence as the weight of the situation kind of hangs in the air with all of you. Some have vied to get out of Dodge, as it were. One of you, in particular, feels that their duty to stay. And the other two perhaps caught in the middle of that. I turn it over to you.
If I go, there will be trouble, but if I stay, it will be double. Darling, you got to.
Ooh, I know that shanty.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one.
That's a classic rock shanty.
Hey, yeah. Dwarven one, I think, too, actually.
One of those dad shanties I've heard so much about.
Technically speaking, it's only a shanty if it was sung as part of a work on a ship. If it wasn't actually sung on a ship for work and it was instead done on the shores or away from a ship, it had various different names depending on what it was.
I feel like this is Talon in character, actually, explaining the difference between a shanty and a song. It's so
I feel like we may be getting off topic.
We haven't even gotten on topic.
I think we were just discussing our next course of action.
When sung on shore, it's called a forebidder.
So, Torque is not leaving. Flick is suggesting that we get out, either seeking assistance, mercenaries, Navy groups, something. Tayland is drunk, I'm sure.
I think we should take over the church.
Tayland wants to do an assault on the town.
No, I want to do an assault on the church. I want to
Okay.
assault organized religion.
Like, as a concept, or...
I'll start with the sham of calling herself a priestess up there to start with. Torque, you're
That's a
literally
good
pregnant
point.
with a god. You should just be able to walk in there.
Not literally, but yeah.
Somebody needs to talk about anatomy with Tayland.
At this
See,
point,
when a turtle and a god. You know.
At this point, I'm not sure if exposing myself to the false church is the best course of action.
Well, there's that
Yeah,
too.
you were reluctant to do that, if I recall. Yeah. Well, then what do you want to do, Torque? Because if you don't want to leave, but you don't want to retake the church in the name of your goddess that's currently living inside your shell, what do you say would be the best option?
I am conflicted in this. I can't, in good conscience, leave this island. I feel as though I have something of an obligation to see its people through this experience, but at the same time, a viable use of this new power hasn't yet presented itself to me. I'm feeling somewhat rudderless at the moment. All this power, and I have no idea what the proper way I should be using it is.
You know, perhaps you're not actually rudderless and you're actually just leaning too hard on one side, so the rudder has emerged out from the water, preventing you from being able to steer. And we just need to right that ship. Oh, strap in, folks.
All night long, it's going to be nautical lessons. I see.
That metaphor took a few extra steps, but I think I get the gist. I think.
We just have to right your path.
And how would you suggest we do this?
Well, if you don't want the town to... this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a town that's currently being assaulted by the living dead. And a church of holy people famously known for being able to remove undead, not doing anything about it. Take over the holy people, able to remove the undead, solve the undead problem, and also gain a bunch of followers on your side. Seems like a pretty good route to take, is all I'm saying.
Flick,
Yeah, boss.
you are adamant about getting out of here, and your argument is well-founded. How long would you be willing to stay to try to solve things here? Or how far would you be willing to go here before you felt the need to jump ship?
if we've got an actual purpose, a goal here, that's great. But just sitting here staring at our own asses is not going to solve any of these problems. We need to deal with that undead army. I was suggesting we go get an army to deal with it. If we can deal with it in another way, we'll deal with it in another way. Yeah, chop off the head somehow. But
Here's a question for you, Tayland.
Aye, Mr. Turtle, who has broached the waters.
Say we do attack the church.
I never said attack, but go on.
What would this achieve for us and for the people of Tyr in the immediate future?
To be fair, it won't really achieve anything for us except get us a lot of nasty scars and post-traumatic stress. We're talking about saving the town here. And in that respect, I do think that this whole mess seems to be revolving around the Sea of Souls encroaching in on Desfuna's turf. That's a Church of Desfuna. I maybe didn't pay that much attention during religious teachings, but I'm pretty sure that the stronger a holy site and a presence is, the harder it is for things that are working against it to overpower it. And if the town is currently being assaulted by people who work for this dark, malevolent being that seems to have its tentacles all up in our business, then having the opposing faction in this town rise in status seems like the optimal thing to do.
I appreciate where your head's at, although as the only one here with any prior experience in besieging this very town, I can't help but wonder if we should think about this more pragmatically. If we burn down a church, the religion still exists. What we need to be doing is attacking more immediately valuable locations for the enemy. Food stores, any other resources,
well, see,
wherever
here's the
their
problem.
weapons are stored.
Are the enemies just Valen zombies? Because at that point, food source seems like a pointless thing to do.
That's what I was going to drive at. The townsfolk are the resources for the undead army, right? They're either food for them or they are troop replacements when they die.
I heard in the Priestess, literally the only two non-undead on this island. The only two non-undead on their side. They don't have
Valen
yeah.
Priestess. As far as we know, there might be more.
Well, okay, so question for you, Craig. We've had conversations with Millie, who is leading a resistance. Has she given us an idea of numbers? You are muted for some reason. Your Zoom isn't muted, but you're not coming through. We were hearing you earlier. What happened?
You hear me?
Now I hear you.
Yep.
Okay. No idea what happened there. My son has been doing a few things. The general gist that you got from Millie, as far as resistance, is there are probably about 3/4 of the population of Lowtown that are kind of just boarding themselves up, doing the best they can up in town, trying to kind of wait it out. And about a quarter that are the resistance, and only a small number of that is actually, people who are active resistance. Mostly it's the, kind of street urchin, street thugs, those who are used to kind of getting themselves into scrap. There is a contingent of the guards who abandon their post out of not just out of like, screw this, I'm done, but more out of actual loyalty to, Desfuna and what Tyr stood for before Vale kind of, burned it all. And so they renounced their loyalty to Edward Vale and have offered their services to the resistance. So you've got maybe a couple dozen fighters in total.
But like
people who could actually fighters. Well, some of those are guards, like actual guards were trained, but you're not looking at like, hundreds of thousands of people. Most of the resistance is people, refugees who are loyal to Desfuna, and essentially they know that something is up. They've refused to follow Vale, and after people had been imprisoned, people had been along with Tonshu, who had been accused of being traitors, those kind of things. These are the people who decided to go underground, both literally and figuratively too.
But you said their numbers are like nowhere near like an actual fighting force that we could muster against.
You've got about maximum 24 able-bodied fighters. In total, the people living in the catacombs, you're probably looking at a couple hundred down there. But it's like,
only
it's a lot
few dozen that are actually,
yeah. There's like merchants. There's a lot of families and children and that like down there. But you might, depending on how things went, you could possibly convince more. Some of the merchants and workers and stuff to join in, but. That would require.
That's kind of the question.
That would require, yeah.
What is left in Hightown? Like, is it strictly undead up there now? That's kind of the.
Hightown is, so from what Millie had informed you, Hightown is fully blocked off. So all the gates from Lowtown into Hightown have been sealed on this side, on the Lowtown side, and boarded up. And Hightown is undead. It's just completely overrun.
Okay.
And the last that Vale was seen was going into the crypt, which is in Hightown. And that is where he had been. A number of the guards had given up and fled because their numbers were like their allies, their fellow guards were literally being killed, by the dozens. So like most of the guard has been eliminated by entering the crypt. They were fighting whatever it was. When you guys first arrived in Tyr and had gone up to the temple, you had seen that there were guards kind of going in and out of the crypt, lots of blood all over the ground. And so whatever it was that was happening in there, the fight or whatever it was, a good portion of the standing guard became casualties of that. And now Vale has gone there. So that is clearly something. He wants something in there, but there's no more guards in Hightown. There's no servants. There's nobody left. It's whoever's there is either dead or undead.
So the undead aren't spilling out into Lowtown just yet?
No.
Okay. All right.
And we don't know. I mean, realistically, if you wanted to make a proper difference, we'd have to take out Lord Vale. That would certainly put a halt to the whole thing. But I believe it was that there was some question as to whether we could even do such a thing with what we have access to now. Maybe he's got a weakness of some sort, and that's something we can figure out. I'm not sure. We don't really know what we're doing here. And frankly speaking, we're just a bunch of random blokes just out on the ocean. What the heck are we going to do? But we've just been thrown into a whirlwind of nonsense.
Talon, don't sell yourself short. We've accomplished a lot.
He has a point. Regardless of what the majority decision is made, I'm the only one here that is under any sort of obligation to stay.
Pork's not a random bloke traveling the ocean. He's a godling now.
Well, I question that. little guy. Do you not also have obligation
regardless
to
of
delivery?
Regardless of what you want to call it, these people were followers of Disfuna, and her responsibility has been passed on to me. So, Captain, if you feel it is within the best interests of the crew to depart from this place, I will bear no ill will towards your decision, but just know that I will not be going with you.
There's a knock on the the galley door, and it creaks open. You see Tonshu peeking her head in.
Yo!
Do you mind if I join you for a moment?
Come on in.
Yeah, we're
Please.
just talking in circles again.
Classic.
I couldn't help but overhear, especially the louder bits of your conversation.
I'm a mezzo forte at best.
I clearly have... I'm not sure what my purpose is at the moment, since my god is no more.
Sorry.
No. That's she chose. Who are we to tell a god what to do? My question is with Danica. Where does her power, if she has any, come from? She gives these people false hope, coming and telling them it. Disfuna is with them. She's not.
If I were to fathom a guess, I'd say that we probably know where she draws her power from.
My feeling... Well, I believe that I will be having a confrontation with her, whether it's alone or not. I have something to settle with her, even regarding my incarceration.
What do we know of this false priestess?
She sort of appeared out of nowhere. Well, not appeared out of nowhere. She's lived here for a number of years, but last year, maybe just over a year ago, she joined the temple, acolyte. Not going to lie, she showed great faith, great ability. Her service was commendable. She professed great loyalty to the temple, to Disfuna, to Lord Vale, who at that point was, while not a perfect ruler, was a decent man, at least. She rose quickly. Perhaps I did not see her ambition and was more enthused that somebody seemed to have such a heart for Disfuna as myself. She was the one to tell me, rather bluntly, that my speaking out against the situation at the time with the choices that my nephew was making were traitorous, were treason. She told me that the guards were coming to imprison me. I swear there was a smirk on her face when I left. She's neck deep, if not more, in all of this. I know it.
Would she be the type that would, if we were to set a trap for her, say a public issue of challenge, do you think she would be the type to take the bait on that?
Why don't we just jump her when she's on walkabout? She's coming around proselytizing through the town. We just jump her, take out her guards, and off with the head.
I'm not
If
going
we
to
are
lie.
to-
That thought has crossed my mind.
If we are to defeat her, it needs to be publicly. We need a symbol to inspire the people of this town, so that hopefully more than our currently paltry resistance rise up in opposition of Eddard Vale's rule.
That thought
We
had
need
also
to
crossed
have-
my mind.
We need to have a symbolic gesture, one that can inspire hope and convince the people of this town that resistance is possible.
Okay, brass tacks though. Is it? Like, there's an awful lot of undead critters on the other side of that wall up that hill. I don't know that a bunch of townsfolk are to be able to do much about it other than add to their numbers.
You just hear this sort of like grinding sound from Torque's jaw as he like grinds his beak.
To your question, Torque, were you to phrase the challenge a certain way, I feel that her ambition, her pride, would force her to accept.
She purports herself as the true voice of Disfuna.
Indeed.
If we could somehow prove that her claim is false and damage her credibility in front of the people of Valtear, would that have any effect?
Yes, I believe it would. From what I gather, those undergrounds already have no trust in her, no faith in her. Tipping the scales and allowing those who remain above to see who she truly is.
Or just to see that Desfuna is still here.
But she's not, Dinar. I cannot give them a false hope. I will not claim that Desfuna is with us, that is with them. As much
We
as
don't
I
need to-
wish to say that it is
We do
not
not
the
need to
truth.
prove this. All we need to prove is that Disfuna is not with her.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Or that
To
she
answer your
serves something else, that she serves this very darkness that threatens them, that she purports to be against.
question, Flick, regardless of what actions we take here, we cannot deny that this town is on its dying breaths. I don't know if what we do here can make any meaningful change in that trajectory, but if I were to do nothing, that would somehow be worse. This is something that I have to do, but I will not force you to follow me in this thing. If you wish to leave, as I told the captain, I will bear no ill will towards your decision. But I must stay.
Hey, man. I said it before. I'll say it again. I've always got your back, buddy. You don't have to worry about that.
Listen, do
Very
we
well
have
then.
do we know where Danica has been going around? Does she have a specific spot or areas that she goes by every day? That's more a question for Craig, I suppose.
Best information that you have, much of which you gathered from Millie and sort of those sources. So she comes down the lift into Lowtown from the temple, the same one that you had gone up.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of seems to, she'll kind of walk down like kind of the main sort of north-south thoroughfare until she gets to about the sort of the river where the bridges are, and then kind of makes her way back. So she only spends about an hour or so. So she tends to kind of stay very open street.
And so she's kind of preaching as she's walking? Or
Yeah,
she's stopping?
The
and
idea is
talking
that
to
she
people?
just kind of goes along, and it's very much just, have faith, the Sfuna is with you. Hold fast, trust in her, and she will protect you. She will guide you, and just, a lot of kind of pretty words, but
Why don't you, Torque? Why don't you go up there and you say, you basically, you make the big claim, the Sfuna is not with the priestess, and I will prove it because I have the true word of Desfuna, and I say that unless she steps down, this town will be beset by a plague of frogs. Then we go to the Grung village.
Would they be willing to help us, though?
While that may be an effective plan, that sounds like a whole lot of journeying for, as Tanchu's talking about, false promises. I have a different idea. I have recently come into the ability to change our appearances, all of us.
But that's a useful spell.
It is. Thank you for noticing. Here's what I'm thinking that we do. We disguise our appearance somewhere near the north end of town. Not quite where we anticipate her to stop and turn back around. Somewhere before that. We let her walk past us, and then we slowly, nonchalantly follow her. Once she's out in the open, that's when I can drop the spell. Torque can make some kind of a claim. Doesn't have to be Desfuna's with me. Just asking her to prove that Desfuna's with her. If a fight breaks out, we're in the open. Small chance of casualties from the local bystanders. And while we don't know much about Danica, I have a good feeling that between the 4, 5, 6 of us, if we bring Serena and Kamari, that we can take down Danica and her guards if need be. Even if it means we capture Danica.
Can you just do that to a priest? Just say, I can prove that the god's power is with you.
Well, we challenge her and we see how she responds.
Isn't the whole point to be about faith is greater than proof or something along those lines? They talked a lot about that back at the Priory.
Well, yes, but if you challenge somebody like this, their response is very telling of what they're saying or what they're living out. If she responds with hostility, that's going to be a huge sign for everybody in town.
Perhaps.
That's almost what I'm counting on. She sticks her guards on us, we take them out, we take her captive. If that fails, then against my better judgment, maybe it is time to split and seek assistance to take Hightown by force. Unfortunately, that would leave Torque here.
There's a perfectly good village of Grung ready and ready to be convinced into rallying
Sure,
Their skin is poisonous. We just keep throwing them at Vale. Eventually, he's got to go down, right?
We could try to get a hold of Tika, sure. It was Tika, right?
Strap a grung to a long pole and then just slide there and just touch them with the poisonous skin.
All right. Thoughts? Any concerns about my plan?
Well, so just to be super clear on what we're doing here, we are trying to not murder her in the street.
Not yet.
Use the element of surprise and ambush the hell out of her.
We want to
have
commit
the element of surprise.
We want to commit self-defense in the streets.
That's right.
Okay. All right, so we're flushing our surprise element. Got it.
Premeditated self-defense.
And instead, we're going to try and discredit her.
Premeditated self-defense. I like
that. We're trying to get her to show her hand.
Okay. So, and assuming she bites, then we throw down and murderize her?
Again, it depends on how she responds.
She probably knows something. Interrogating probably isn't going to be the most useful, but we don't know how much she's thrown her lot in.
If I may, if I show myself, I guarantee you that she will come.
Well, there we go.
She sees me as, well, traitor. I was cast down so that she could take the role of High Priestess. I am her nemesis.
Why don't you just make us all look like Tenshu?
I was gonna say, D, can your spell make us at least make Torque look like her? Stick Torque on the bridge looking like her.
I could make all of us. I could make all of us look like her. The illusion will be a little bit janky for Flick.
I'm
and for Torque.
Tenshu.
No. I am coming. I will be there.
Can you isn't that really dangerous?
Yes.
Super is.
That's why we're there.
Let me make this perfectly clear. This is my city. These are my people. I may not have Tasuna's power anymore. I am a Vale. I stand for what my family should be, what it has been. I am doing this. I'm not asking. I'm telling you.
All right, then.
I'm going to go. I'm going to announce myself. I will draw her out, and whatever the outcome may be, if I need to give of my life to save this city, so be it. I have given everything I have to it already. I've lived decades in service.
While I appreciate the sentiment, I should hope that it does not come to that.
I very much hope so too. But I'm willing. Don't take that away from me. It is my choice. Whatever will be, will be.
Okay, Sarah. So.
All right.
I will make us all look like common folk. We'll put ourselves somewhere along the path. And when she crosses... Go ahead, Flick.
Do we even need that, then? Can't we just, like...
To be fair, if we show up looking like ourselves, they may be like, that's clearly a trap.
That's the thing, she knows us. And if we look unseemingly, we can at least get behind her. My concern is that we spook her. She sees us and she goes back to the safety of the temple before we can confront her. That's why I want to get in between her and the temple.
That's easy enough.
Yeah.
I think it's better to not broadcast that it's us right from the get-go.
I would agree.
Playing all your cards right at the beginning of the game is a surefire way to lose.
So,
Unless you have a hand that wins immediately upon placing it, then might as well. But
Well, see, this is element of surprise thing again. You know, we take out 2 or 3 of the guards before they even know what's going on. But anyway, all right, we'll have our little play, a little show here, and then we can get to the stabbing and whipping. Okay, let's do this.
I love rebellions. Drinks all around. Liquid courage for everybody.
so
rest up, prepare what you need to. Let me know when we're ready, and I will. Well, go walk the streets.
I mean, I'm
Like
not
so
doing
many
anything
times
right now. How
before.
about the rest of y'all?
I want to talk to
I'm wondering
Serena.
if we should get the rest of the crew involved as well.
At
Maybe
least
position
Serena and
them on
Kamari.
rooftops.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, maybe one thing we could do is send out our crew to gather the people in the town so that we have an audience. This would help with the damaging of her reputation, at least.
We could even just talk to Millie. Millie could probably rally some of the locals.
It probably wouldn't hurt to have a couple of the so-called rebellion in the crowd in case things go real bad.
Probably right.
All right. So who wants to talk to Millie?
I could do that.
Okay, Tayland, you talk to Millie. Unless Flick wants to go too.
I mean, I'll tag along, sure.
All right. I'll talk to Serena and Kamari about
Oh,
joining
yeah, I'm
us.
definitely going with Taylor.
Torque, you sit tight for now.
Very well.
Dinar's going to think about what everybody's going to look like after he casts Seeming.
Okay, so Talon and Fleck are going to meet Millie. And Dinar, you are going to talk to Kamari.
Yeah, I just want to recruit Kamari and Serena. Or Valencia. Or Caitlin. Or whatever she's going by today.
Lady Assassin.
Yeah.
Names, different appearances become very useful. All right. Let's start with Talon and Flick then. As you head from the dock back into town, it's feeling pretty safe to do so at the moment. Like there's people running around and stuff, but you've been around now. You kind of have an idea of where to meet up with Millie, so it's not hard to even as you go into town, you see a couple of urchins. Flick, you can spot them, kind of knowing what to look for, and they kind of give you a nod, like this way, kind of thing, kind of lead you on, and leading back into sort of the warehouse district. Bit of a rougher looking alley that is it's empty, but it's more dirt than cobblestone by this point. And Millie meets you there, just kind of sitting on a box. As you come in, she's like, "So, you joining up with our resistance or what? What's
In a way, we have a proposition that might be able to get you a little bit of leverage.
okay?"
We are going to oust the Priestess Danica in front of the entire town, and we'd
Well,
like
that
you
sounds like
to
fun.
Exactly. So we'd like you to be there with a couple of your people just to keep an eye on the crowd, make sure things run smoothly, and of course to spread the word that perhaps they should be at a specific location in town at a specific time of day.
Hey, in case you didn't notice on the way over here, but my people are already everywhere.
Yes, but having them at a very specific location.
Oh, I got that part. I'm just saying that having us out and about kind of what we do, but yeah.
That's why
So,
that's why we figured you'd be worthwhile to have be aware of what's going on instead of just being surprised.
So what's the plan? You gonna like murder hobo in the street or what? Like
That was my angle, but apparently they want to do some big theatrical show first. So we'll let them have their little yabba yabba, and then we'll start the shooting, and it'll be fine.
You want to get herself to like show herself as the fraud?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, see, I was thinking just peg her off from a rooftop and just be done with it, but these guys wanted to do a little more talky stuff. So
peg her from the rooftop, she becomes a martyr.
I get the feeling that it won't be that easy. She got power, that lady. I can tell you that much. She doesn't use any of it for us, but
she will fall before the power of music and friendship.
She ain't some like helpless broad just walking around. I mean, she's got an aura about her. She's got something, all right.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll tear that down soon enough, I'm sure.
Flick has his own little razzle dazzle mojo.
As long as she doesn't have true sight.
And Dinar has at least one useful spell.
If I was there. So this is
things could get ugly, eh?
Yeah, when you see it going sideways, feel free to start working crowd control and getting people out of the line of fire.
There is also going to be a certain individual in play, a certain Miss Vale. It is imperative that if things start to go sideways, she be extricated from the situation, possibly by force.
Oh right, you guys found Tanshu, eh? Rescued her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, from what I know of Tanshu, she ain't about to run anywhere. She's there. She won't be extricated. She's look, she's part of the whole reason that this resistance even exists, right? I mean, she's the one who really knew us. She's the one who really cared about this city.
And if she doesn't make it through this particular arrangement, it's all over.
Maybe not. They already talked about Danica being a martyr. Be more powerful than
let's just
the
try
very
and
lady
avoid
who knows us all being the martyr too. I'm not look.
Try and avoid any martyrdom at all.
I ain't saying no hoping for that. I'm just saying. I think either way, you might get yourself more people fired up.
That is the plan.
All right.
To stoke the flames of rebellion.
So when and where?
Flick, when and where?
What'd we say, tomorrow when she does her daily walkabout? We're gonna corner her when she's as far from the temple as we can get and do the thing.
All right. We'll be there.
Perfect.
I got a lot of dust on the ground. I got some dirt in my nose. I mean, I got it everywhere, but...
Hey, Flick, you can do something about that, can't you?
Don't even.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing for that anyway.
Being clean's overrated. Easier to blend in this way. Walk around looking all pristine and like I had a bath.
It's not you are very correct.
How obvious that is?
Yes, I do actually. That's how you can always tell
in this town,
who
especially the way things are right now, man. Somebody walking around clean.
Yeah, that's how you know who the snitches are.
What, snitches have showers?
Snitches have money to afford showers.
or it means that they, getting favors from somebody getting all cleaned up and like so.
They got a patron who's paying them money. They ain't belong on the streets then. I like to think that when Tayland is communicating in this conversation, he's like slowly degrading into street slang and like away from the more refined.
The rougher language is coming back out. Street talk. Yeah.
He gets back into his old habits.
All right. Well, she keeps a pretty regular schedule, so she usually comes out like sort of about an hour before noon. before midday. Does her little walk around thingy.
And you're
Alright.
certain that you can trust every single person you have under your command?
How about you leave that to me?
All right.
You're trusting me. You trust me to know who I can trust. I'm trusting you too, so
All right.
it'll be what it'll be. All right.
Can't argue with that logic.
Trust is all you got on the streets.
See you, fellas. Don't die between now and then.
Oh, we wouldn't give you the opportunity to gloat.
I'm not saying I'm gloat. Kind of like you guys.
I'd be really sad, actually. Why would you say that?
It starts bawling on the crane like, you jerk.
Listen, I don't like you and you don't like me. I like you.
I like you.
Well, all right. On the ship, Dinar, you find Kamari on the poop deck, just kind of looking out over the railing at the sort of the high railing at the back of the ship and the stern, and just kind of looking out at the ocean.
Hey,
Only someone had a book
Kamari.
of all the different parts of the ship and how
Only
they're
someone did.
referred
I
to.
just forgot what it was, but it's the aft or the stern,
aft.
whichever one you look at it. Yeah,
Is it the back of the ship? It's the aft.
it's the aft. Yeah.
Hey, Kamari.
I just couldn't think of the word at the moment. Okay, you got it. Yes.
I want to talk to you. We got a little operation in the works for tomorrow.
Operation? Like what? I'm sorry. What do you mean?
Wow. Okay. So we are going to take one more attempt to get a foothold in this city and see if we can't change the balance of power in Lowtown. Wondering if you wanted to be part of it.
Here to help as I can. Just don't ask me to fight again. That rock was a bit much.
I understand. I don't intend on putting you on the front lines. I was actually wondering.
Okay.
Tomorrow, we're going to set up a little ambush for Danica as she makes her daily rounds to preach the good news to the people.
She's the priestess, right?
Yeah, the priestess, sure.
Right, yes.
So my thinking was we're going to be set up somewhere. I was hoping that maybe you could be up on the rooftops, keeping an eye out for maybe dangers that might be coming that we are not aware of from farther out.
So you want me to be close to the fighting?
Close, but not necessarily part of it.
About 120 feet away.
Yes.
Well, I have...
For no reason.
I might have ways to look on the situation without actually being that close. I am a diviner, as you know, so perhaps I will do that. Instead, I would rather not be any closer than I need to be to, I'm still getting some of the blood out of my feathers. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, you don't really get used to that.
No.
So, okay, if you can stay on the boat and keep watch on us, do you have a means with which to contact us frequently?
You have heard my voice in your head.
I have, but I also know that that takes considerable power to do.
Well, to do the message, yes, but if you recall when you first accompanied me, or I accompanied you to those strange ruins, that I created a telepathic bond with all of you.
Right,
That we
okay.
could speak within
Fantastic,
each other's minds, so I will just do that before you leave, and then we can maintain communication.
I had actually forgotten about that. Great. Okay.
I have a couple of spells, such as Arcane Eye, a couple other things where I can gaze on situations, and then I can telepathically let you know what it is that I see.
That would be fantastic. Good. We'll let you know when we're heading out tomorrow and you can get your spells set up.
Yes, okay. I am comfortable with that. All right, I can do that. Yes.
Good.
You can see that she still looks a little bit ruffled. Like that encounter really did throw her for a loop. You know, she's mentioned before, like she's a scholar more than anything, right? Like she's not a fighting wizard. She's a researcher, a ritualist. She does these things, so she's a little bit out of sorts at the moment, but she's still okay. You know, even with the water getting a little bit darker because of all the black stuff, there is something quite soothing about just watching the ocean, hearing the breeze.
At that mention, Dinar is going to look out into the water. Is it noticeably reaching Valtear? The blackness?
Go ahead and give me either a perception check, or in this case, I would say you could give me an Arcana check as well.
Okay.
Because of your training.
Let's go Arcana. My perception sucks. Let's go that dice. That's a 17 plus my Arcana of 8, so 25.
It's definitely like the black sludge hasn't, you know, creeped right up on the shore as it had in Edinport quite yet. It is like palpable to your kind of other sense, your arcane sense, that even just you take a moment, you kind of look down at the water and you can feel rather than see something just moving in the midst of the water, like a current, a flow that just kind of is just there. It's like kind of seeping in along the tides. And so it is growing. And the water does look dark and murky and brackish and
so that's different.
Sludgy.
Not that I intentionally spent any time, but that is noticeably different than when we arrived. And I did.
It is. It's not like as dark as within the Sea of Souls kind of proper. Like you're kind of still up into Suna's rim. And when you had reached here, it wasn't quite as bad, but it does over the week and such that you've been here, it has begun to kind of creep in, and it does seem to be reaching port now.
Oh boy.
Slowly getting darker, sludgier,
sounding more and more right. Okay. All right, well, I guess Dinar will move on to Serena.
Okay. Kamari doesn't even notice you're gone. And after you've walked away, you can just kind of hear her, not talking to you, but just like, she just kind of keeps talking, be like, it's funny living so close to the ocean. Enjoy looking at it, but I don't really like swimming. It's not good for the feathers. It's wet. And she just kind of mumbles on. Serena, you find below decks. And she's kind of just on one of the many cots that is just like hammock style cots that's just gonna put up between a couple crates and stuff. Not hers, not anybody's really. It's just there, and she's just kind of swinging in it. And she's got one of her daggers out, and just kind of has a oiled rag, and she seems to just be cleaning and oiling and sharpening the blade. And she's just, Captain.
Yeah, it's been a couple of days, but I wanted to update you on what we've got working on, or what we're working on right now for tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Don't know if you've looked out on the water yet, but we are not far enough away from what hit Ebonport. So
I get the feeling that it's just sort of how the water's going to be. As long as Chuskades, I don't know if he breathes or not, but as long as he exists here, sort of seems to be the new norm.
Well, with any luck, what we have planned for tomorrow can perhaps get us working in the right direction to push back.
Right.
By the way, just so I am aware moving forward as your captain, what am I calling you?
Serena, please. It's the name that I've known the longest. It is who I am.
So, tomorrow, when Danica's out making her route, we have a plan to set up a little bit of an ambush. Bit of an overthrow. Test of her power. We'd like
Where am I
to
shooting her from?
Yeah, maybe. Our plan currently is to take her alive, but not at the expense of any of our crew.
Not as fun.
Yeah, I know, you and Flick really want to kill her. Get it.
Dana, you remember what I am, right?
Yes.
I literally kill people for a living. That's what I do.
Yes, but you need to understand, and maybe I haven't been forthright with this information. I've served in the Navy. So, while you're an assassin, I do have some attachment to the law.
I didn't say I was going to. I'm following you.
Yeah.
Captain.
I understand.
Stating my preferences is all, but...
So...
lead away.
I would prefer if you were with us on the ground, unless you'd prefer to not be on the ground when we confront her. The plan is to disguise ourselves. I have a spell to do so.
I can take care of that myself, thank you.
Well, yes, of course. And then we want to cut off her retreat back to the temple. Confront her and see what happens. Are you in?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'll be there.
We'll let you know when we're getting ready to head out. Kamari will be giving us oversight. She's gonna telepathically link our minds together so we can communicate out in the field. It's a little jarring at first. You'll get used to it.
It's not my first time.
Good to know.
I'll be there before you leave, Captain. Do a little bit of scouting. Get the lay of things.
Would be great. Carry on. Dinar will make his way back to the planning room.
Okay. Tayland and Flick, are you guys doing anything else before you reconvene on the ship? Or are you just heading right back?
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay. So as you all reconvene back on the Radiant Dawn and discuss your plans then, you have until the next day. I'd say it's probably about mid-afternoon, early evening at this point. So is there anything that you would like to do to prepare for the following day?
Anyone for drinks?
I kind of figured that was a given, but...
Yeah, I could do with one.
Are you allowed to drink since you're carrying a god in your
Oh
stomach?
my gosh.
That's really not how it works. I'm not even sure how it works, and I know that's not how it works.
Drinking for two now, it's fine.
I'm not pregnant.
Should we pour one out for Despuna, or is it considered disrespectful to pour alcohol into the ocean?
I mean, it would just become diluted. She's not there, but whatever you want. I feel like Talon would be like, wait, that's a waste.
Yes, that's exactly how it would go down.
No. All right.
Might as well enjoy ourselves. We don't even know how tomorrow's going to be. It's going to be likely a very, very long day.
Most likely, yes.
Okay. So as you all go about your business for the evening, do a little bit of drinking, a little bit collectively and respectively.
Relatively.
Anybody feel like doing some gambling or playing games at all?
So we're gonna test out Chaos Dice. We're gonna test out our new initiative.
No.
We're gonna play our new games.
This isn't chaos. This isn't Chaos Dice. Yes. But yes, I do have some dice games I've been working on because why not?
I don't know. Part of me feels like dice games are meant for jovial moments, and we're not jovial. But
This is like pretty somber, yeah.
that's my thought for the night, at least. Maybe once we have a victory, but
Anyone for dice?
then drunk Talon just suggests it anyways.
Yeah.
Might as well gamble away all your money before you gamble away your life in some crazy revolution. Anyway.
100 platinum buy-in. All right.
Hey, who took the cork from my lunch?
As you get some rest, various states of deep sleep and dreaming, you wake in the morning, each of you, and in those first few moments that you kind of come to consciousness, things feel a little bit different.
Oh, crap.
Dinar, you have to blink a couple times, as for a moment it seems like you're almost seeing like through things.
Oh
boy.
It begins.
Your vision seems even more heightened in ways that you swear you could see more. I feel like I'm gonna play with this a little bit, but your eyes, your manifestation of fractured seems to be growing and changing. Flick, you kind of wake up, your ears twitching, and that's a rather large fish that just swam by underneath the ship. You kind of felt it as much as heard it, and your ears kind of picking up some strange things. Tail end, you kind of wake, and as you're kind of getting yourself ready and kind of look in the mirror, you have to jump for a second. Is in the mirror, there's almost kind of like a blurred image standing behind you, and you turn around and not there, and then you kind of concentrate. It just ever so briefly shows like again and disappears. Torque.
I will just pull my flask out and look at it.
Torque, your hard crystal growth has grown.
Oh yeah.
And seems to be pulsing.
That seems healthy.
And
As
it
if
feels
I don't
like
have enough to worry about already.
feels like it's drawing in energy from around you and gives you a bit of a moment to kind of pause and think on its nature.
It kind of itches.
A little bit.
I don't like that.
But for each of you, you gain the understanding separately that your powers, your abilities for good or ill, whatever be the case, are definitely growing and changing as your fracture spreads. You convene in the galley for breakfast. A few hours away from your planned operation, knowing that Danica will be descending from the lift and walking the streets at around 11. Any final preparations before you head into the city?
Before we begin this, I would just like to reiterate one last time that none of you are under any sort of obligation to participate. If any of you have any thoughts against what we're about to do, there is still time to leave.
You hear that, Flick?
Yeah, well, at least this time when little guy's listening to the voices in his head, he seemed to be saying nice things this time, so we'll go with the flow.
One little piece of information that might be useful for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Torque excluded. The seas outside are getting darker.
Wonderful.
It is spreading north further than I was expecting and faster than I was expecting it to. So
if this doesn't work, we gotta get out of here.
that is my understanding. I believe that the reason it is spreading the way that it is, the reason Triskades is gaining such a foothold is because of Vale. And if we can get a foothold and start to push on Vale, on Eddard, maybe we can prevent this from going any further. If this backfires or just doesn't result in anything, then we gotta follow Flick's instinct and get out of here.
Well, I certainly won't be crying any tears if we put a little bit of a stick into the plans of old Nettie Boy.
Yeah, and on the other hand, it won't be the first smoking ruin we sailed away from either, so,
There is that.
You're not wrong. The only problem is, I don't think even if it is a smoking ruin that we're gonna convince Torque to come with us. So, that's my concern at this point.
Well,
Torque's the one who's been going on about wanting to punch a god.
This was before I gained other responsibilities.
But now that you have a god inside you, you could just hit yourself, call that goal accomplished, and we can move on.
All right. There's one other thing that we need to discuss. I'm gonna be casting Seeming.
Ooh!
What do you want to look like?
It's
Gotta be something relatively similar to your size and shape. And
pretty. I was pretty.
must be the same number of limbs.
That's an oddly specific caveat.
Well, it will react to the movement of your body. If I give you 4 arms, 2 arms are going to be in the T-pose the whole time. So,
Oh, don't say that.
that's just inviting it now.
The 3D render isn't responding the way that I was hoping for.
Craig, given where Dinar is from, how familiar would he be with the creatures, I suppose the humanoid, not humanoid, but the sentient creatures of the mainland coming from Dracor?
Of the mainland?
Yeah,
I mean,
because Dinar's from the eastern side of the mainland.
It's mostly, kind of your it's not quite as varied as the Isles. Most of the kingdoms are some mix of human, elf, dwarf, gnome, halfling, dragonborn, obviously with you there as well. There's a few beast folk. There's a large Pandir nation. But like you're trying to think.
I'm trying to think about what on earth do I turn Torque into. He's a very large creature. My brain initially went to, I can't remember what you call your bear race.
Ursid.
There's
lots of Ursid around here, yeah.
So that's where my brain went for Torque.
I think that makes sense given my size.
Yeah. Flick, you got a couple of options. You could be a gnome, you could be a Pandir, you could be a different goblin.
Halfling.
Always wanted facial hair. Make me a gnome.
All right. Gnome coming up.
Make that beard extra pointy, eh?
I can do that. And as per your guys' suggestion, assuming you shared Millie's advice, we're all going to look a little dirty. Unless somebody wants to look particularly clean.
A dirty gnome. That sounds right.
I think your common sense in this is enough to get the feeling that you're mixing in with like refugees and rabble in a torn city, being all like prim and polished.
Not gonna. Yeah.
Might stand out.
When you're trying to blend in and hide, that's like the opposite. Be like, look at that very clean person over there.
How about you, Tayland?
Kill them.
You want pointy ears? You want horns?
Oh. Yeah, I'd like to be an elf.
An elf. Okay.
A
Paint me a
drunken
word
elf
picture.
sailor.
I figured you were going tiefling.
That's what I thought when I said horns, and you went, "Ooh."
Nice long ears with an angled face. The
You
big
can be an
eyebrows
elf,
with
tiefling.
large bushy eyebrows. The nose should be angular like an eagle's beak, but not so angular as to be a protrusion in terms of aesthetics. Now, the mouth would just be mainly just a line with the hint amount of lips. And the thing is, what I want is a goatee, trimmed blonde, but with a little bit of a reddish hue.
So after an hour of him giving you very specific details, you were able to cast seeming to give him that exact look.
Dinar. What is Dinar going to be? I have to be something with a tail.
be a turtle.
You could be
A lizard folk a thing?
You could be lizard
In
folk.
this, yeah.
I mean, could you not just? I guess Dragonborn are uncommon enough. You don't want to use that.
I could make my, although I could
enough
just
of
make
them.
myself a standard color of Dragonborn.
Yeah, there's Dragonborn are common enough.
Okay.
Um,
Then yeah, I would just go for that.
you could go Pangol or
Make yourself a
well, they're
human with a
not
tail.
that common, but
Human with a tail, yeah.
A human with a tail.
I mean you could
I'm a
be
tiefling.
Human in a trench coat that's bowing out in the back for some reason.
Make yourself look
Dragon-
like 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
No, Dragonborn are common enough. I mean, you've got another one serving on your ship. Like
That's true.
You've encountered them enough that
Yeah, all you really
When-
need to do is just change your color.
just change your color, change
It's a palette
your
swap.
change your face a little bit, right? Like you can change your features a little
just
bit. so that
invert your entire your entire color scheme.
you're just a negative of Dinar.
Well, no,
Mega
because
It's
that's-
Dinar.
player 2. It's his player 2 skin.
Negative Dinar. Yeah,
all
sorry.
right.
Yeah.
All right, Dinar will go with a different colored Dragonborn. Let's go. I don't know what would a common color be? Red, blue,
Green.
Probably, probably, yeah, blue, green, copper.
Bronze.
A lot of kind of copper, brass, like copper bronze. Yeah, in there, in that.
Let's go with a copper then. Copper,
Stay here, copper.
and we'll all be wearing like standard, just kind of
Rags.
merchants, sellers, rags. Yeah, we're not gonna look like hobos, but we're gonna look like just merchants,
Peasants.
sellers, peasants. Yeah.
Yes, peasants is the name. What do you call them? What do you call them? Average people. You know,
them working class
losers.
folk.
Those. Oh, right.
people with stable jobs, income, and housing.
Except not here.
And then, did we decide on Torque? My brain
I think
is
Ursid's
failing.
gonna be a bear person. Yeah.
Right.
Give me
Yeah.
Ursid. One of the
It'll be an
Ursid.
Ursid. Yeah. Okay. So there we go.
Ran the pallet swap. I love it. That was great.
Well, I'll put that into Twitch chat too.
Yeah, there we go. Ranod.
There. Now everyone can join in the joke.
Excuse me. All right, so with your disguises in place, Kamari casts telepathic bond with all of you.
Ooh, fancy.
The voices.
Which, as she casts it on you, allows all of you to communicate with one another and Kamari telepathically for an hour,
This is
literally anywhere on this plane of existence.
Andy.
99
So as long
bottles
as-
of beer
as
on the
long as you
wall,
don't
99
disappear to a
bottles
different
of
plane.
beer, you take one down.
You can also
pass it
tune
around,
out
98 bottles
whoever
of
you would
beer on the
like.
wall, 98 bottles of beer.
If you
All
want
right,
to
if we are-
communicate individually, you can, or if you want to send a broadcast, as it were, to everyone, you may do that as well. It's very adaptive.
All right, if we figure we are under an hour from showtime, I'm going to cast False Life on myself. Or 8 temporary hit points.
Okay.
I guess we might as well go with the water breathing. Why not? May as well.
You never know. It might come in handy.
We'll get Willie Redtail out.
Oh, yeah. Paige will be out as well.
All right.
Torque will, I guess, I don't know, get some hand access to go with his maul.
And when
We
we
have
figure
any-
we are within 10 minutes of showtime, I'm also going to cast Protection from Evil and Good on Torque.
Okay.
Ooh,
Because we
Oh.
don't need him possessed this time.
nope.
Didn't think of that, but appreciate it nonetheless.
And I'll sort of pull him aside and say, listen, Torque, I'm not a man of faith like you. I don't do blind trust. But I believe in you, buddy. And I sort of put a hand out as high up as I can reach and sort of pat him. Saying, we got this, right?
I appreciate this. Thank you.
All right, let's go do this thing. You look weird, Harry.
It feels weird, even though I can't physically feel it. I feel like I have phantom hair.
Ooh.
Oh,
You
Tanshu
just
as well.
want to start ishing.
Tanshu as well. We'll give her a disguise.
No, she does not want to disguise. She wants
Yeah.
to be herself.
That was kind of the
but-
point of this whole thing.
But
Can we
we
not
need-
give her like a really elaborate outfit?
I said we need Danica to walk past us, though.
Yeah, so we set her up on the bridge and we're set up back here. She walks
Tanshu-
past us.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep.
Refuses. Tanshu, no, she made it very clear that you were with her in this, not the other way around, that she is going out.
Then as soon as we see her, I'll
To
drop
meet.
it. Okay. All right.
She refuses. Politely, but firmly says no. I want the people to see me.
Firmly but politely.
So she's already gone, by the way. So she had already left in
Bro.
Serena has left as well. And even before you leave the ship, as you're kind of making your final preparations, you can hear that sort of, when you can hear like a commotion, you know that there's something going on. You can't quite pick up voices just yet. Flick, however, you can pick up the occasional voice a little bit clearer. You hear sort of two different commotions. The first of which seems to be centered around just a general sort of mob cries of basically kind of demanding that Danica, show herself again, like to help. demanding his
Help us,
answers.
we need food.
Why aren't you helping?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be serving this food. Now, what are you like?
Yeah.
We're starving down here, and there's just like a lot of kind of the pitchfork mob getting all riled up.
The crowd rage. Got it. Yeah.
You hear, like you even make out that's Millie's voice. Okay, yeah, you can hear them like egging the crowd on, right? They're like, what about the food? What about this? Like, yeah, what about that? They're all just kind of get going. And then kind of alongside of that, you kind of hear a second one growing where you start to hear some cheers and you hear the name Tonshu alongside of that. And it seems she has made her appearance, and there are people that are definitely kind of rallying around her, and you can kind of just make out her voice along with the crowd, just kind of not trying to calm them down, but promising answers, kind of siding with them and saying that that she too has questions for Danica, and not giving them false hope, but promising answers, promising that we're going to get to the bottom of this sort of thing. And so the crowd is primed, as it were. The scene is being set, and as you leave the boat and make your way into the streets, are you guys trying to kind of be stealthy even before you set yourself up, or are you wanting to like get near the main thoroughfare and then try to find somewhere? Like, are you trying to be stealthy from here all the way there, or what's kind of your approach?
I just kind of figured that we would get set up before she started her walk.
Yeah, we're already
Okay.
in disguise, so what is the difference between moving stealthy and just like, acting inconspicuously as we walk?
So the idea is, the more you're kind of skulking about, you're likely to draw some attention if anybody catches you, wondering, hey, like, what are you doing? Whereas if you were more, so it's more not necessarily Danica seeing who you are, but just anybody kind of being curious, and any stray watchers being curious as to who you are, what you're about.
Like, I think
Keeping
the
in mind
fact
too
that
that you may still be seen as strangers amongst people who know each other very well.
yeah. I mean, like, part of me is like, I think the fact that we're in disguise means that,
We shouldn't need to sneak. Like, we just try and blend in with the crowd.
yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna like call us out.
It's going to be more weird if we're like just loitering around somewhere for like a couple hours than if we're just milling about.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think it's good if we draw too much attention to ourselves, because we are not locals, and most likely someone's going to wonder, who the heck are these weirdos?
I don't think we should.
Yeah.
We won't
Which
be
is the point
grouped
I was
up
making.
either.
Yeah.
Maybe there's two of us that are together. We'll stay in a vicinity,
Okay.
but we're not traveling as a group.
Keep in mind that again, you can communicate with each other telepathically
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
Yeah, I think if we split up and
wherever
have like
you are.
have eyes on the locations we need to have eyes on, but we're not directly together.
Yeah.
I will still get all of you to roll stealth with advantage, because you are still passing yourselves off as somebody else. You are disguised, but you are still trying to blend in with the crowd, trying to be someone other than yourself. So basically just passing yourselves off.
I feel like as an urchin, being that we're in a city, I'd be very good at this.
Yeah, so you all have advantage. Yeah, the DC, I can take that into account for the DC for yourself there as well.
Perfect.
Well, that's a 13.
Oh my goodness.
Can we get these rolls
That's
up
a 13
on,
for me.
Yeah, let me get these rolls up. Sorry.
there? No.
That's a 13
Nine.
for Torque the Bear Turtle.
19.
And 19 was my low roll. So
Yeah, well, can't all be goblins.
I rolled a natural 20.
ooh,
However,
or
I'm
19.
still,
Okay.
I'm still on I'm 21. I do
Oh,
have a
wow.
1 there. I do have a 1.
There
It's
you go.
it's not a negative 1.
So is this like is this like as long as the majority of us pass, then we pass type
Yeah.
situation?
I mean, you can think about it this way. It's hard for a bear to hide Anyways.
Yeah.
So this is more or less like how much attention are you drawing to yourself? You're not the only Ursid. Like people have pretty much anywhere you go in the Isles, there's enough of a mix of people that unless you're like extreme outlier, like, you know, one of the lizard folk or something like that, like
Yeah.
you might get like a but people aren't gonna be like, hey, what are you doing here, bear? Like, you know,
Don't be suspicious, basically.
people know what an Ursid is. So yeah. Okay. So you guys do your best to sort of blend in with the crowd and kind of get in position. And I'm assuming you're setting yourselves up sort of closer to the lift as opposed to near the end of her walk.
I think that makes a certain amount of sense.
So your understanding from her path is that she kind of does that basically, and then kind of loops her way back around. But that is more or less her path as she comes out from the left, and then kind of just heads up this main street along the canal there. So
I figure we set up on either side of this intersection. That would be.
It's far enough away that it's, but still close enough. Yeah, I think that's probably.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option would be at the end of the route. Are you thinking because of the water there that might be not great? Like, I'm just thinking it. I'm just thinking, well, the end of the route is the furthest away from the church, and I'm just feeling like that's probably the best option.
Yeah, no, and that's I wanted us to be somewhere before, like with those two purple marks. I think that's a good spot for us to be, and then from there, as she walks past, we follow
her from there.
Yeah, okay, we follow her in from there. And the point is just to ambush her at the bridge.
I still think we should have somebody at the bridge.
Well, Tanshu's already there,
and
Kamari's got her eyes set up.
Yeah, I'd still want one of us to be there, just to be safe.
We also don't know where Serena is right now,
and you probably won't.
Yeah,
like, you know enough of Serena now that like you won't even see her unless she absolutely wants you to her.
And she opted out of the telepathic bond, I'm assuming.
She was already gone before that any of that. Yeah. So
that sounds in character.
Yeah. She has her methods, she has her way. She's doing what she does best, so. Okay. So as you have gathered with the crowd and you kind of set yourself in, you can even see from this point, you can see as the lift at the top of the cliff was kind of like a kind of clunking of gears, and you see it start to lower its way down, indicating that Danica is on her way. As she reaches the garden below, there are, she's got a handful of guards with her, 4 in particular that are kind of keeping like right close to her. And there's a few other temple guards that kind of stay back guarding the lift. And she seems not surprised, but, you know, she kind of raises an eyebrow. She sees, you know, the mob already kind of worked up. And she immediately begins, you know, kind of her placating tones of, please, my friends, we must trust in Desfuna. I believe that she's doing all that she can. There's great forces at work here, but we must just trust in her plan. We must trust in her will. Have faith that she will come through for us. And she just begins kind of coming through, walking on the road, and you hear somebody in the crowd kind of shout out, maybe Tanshu can tell us what the truth is. And at that name, you see Danica kind of go, you there, why would you speak of the traitor Tanshu? Clearly she lost Desfuna's favor. She turned against the city, turned against Lord Vale. She is not the one to put your trust in. Even if she were here, which for our good she is not. Yeah, she is. We just heard that she's down at the bridge. And yeah. The crowd starts getting all riled up, and you see Danica just like, you can kind of make her out. Her eyes just go like iron, and she's like, "Is she now? Perhaps it is time for us to." And she just like starts walking, and you can see her kind of like making a fast pace. She goes right past you, and as she does that,
well, we did render her speechless.
So as
Progress, I would say.
Danica's encounter with Tanshu lines up, and you guys follow in behind, we will take a break, and we will be back shortly to see what happens next. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a snack. Do the bio break and all that, like and such as. Take your garbage out or whatever you need to do if it's garbage day, and we'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Hang tight.
Hey, Elderbrain Collective. If you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways you can do just that, and we would be super grateful. Seriously, it'd be awesome. First, of course, make sure you're following us on Twitch. Once we get our 50 followers goal, we can make our stream even better with subscriber perks. Then, be sure to follow our Twitter account. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post stream VODs as well as additional content coming soon. Of course, you can listen to audio transcripts of our stream on Podbean if that's your preference. Of course, you'll miss out on our handsome faces, but you get our incredible voices, so it's pretty good. You want to hang out with the collective and chat D&D and, well, everything else? Head over to our Discord server. It's open to anyone who wants to join. Finally, we've just launched our Patreon page, which is the optimum and best way to support us. That's redundant. Optimum is best. Each tier gets you additional perks, including exclusive Discord emotes, monthly digital content, behind-the-scenes info and creature stats, and, for the truly faithful, you can even gain power over the PCs in-game, live on stream, and have an impact on what happens next. I think that's pretty awesome. We'd love your support. You can find the links to all of our sites on our Linktree. Check out linktr.ee/elderbrain, Linktree/elderbrain. We hope to see you joining us soon as a member of the collective. Happy gaming, everyone. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Greetings, wary travelers. My name is Mike, and I will be playing the role of Dinar Neurixius, Dragonborn wizard on the Sea of Souls. Allow me to get into character and we can learn a little bit more about this pale golden dragon. Being chosen is supposed to be a good thing. Chosen by the gods to serve a purpose. However, it can mean facing a life alone. I was born in our homeland, Drakor, in the east. And though these scales are supposed to be a blessing, I was reviled by so many.
I could see their jealousy, could feel their stares. My own people shunned me, and so I left. I still drew stares when I arrived in Stormhaven. It's hard to miss these scales. But the dwarves were far more accepting of me. I learned I could put my magic to good use out on the seas, so I served aboard a ship, adding my arcana to their arsenal. Maybe one day I'll return home. Maybe they will welcome me as Verithan's champion. Or at least, as kin. For now, though, life among the Gungrim is good. I am used to standing out here, used to towering over this good folk. But what they lack in size, they make up for in heart.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I play the goblin Flick Dogslicer, an Eldritch Knight fighter. Once upon a time, there was a goblin named Flick. That's me. He was a good egg, but as a recently emancipated man, he didn't necessarily have the firmest grasp on the rules of free society, and often ended up on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I'm in this back alley, minding my own business, rooting through the trash, when this old guy in a blue dress and a big floppy hat with stars and crap all over it comes out of nowhere screaming, "Oh my god, it's a goblin," and starts shooting fire out of his hands at me. So I shanked him. I didn't mean to kill him per se, but, heat of the moment and all that. Now, even I knew how this would play out with the guard, so I'm looking for a quick escape. But this old guy didn't even have the courtesy of carrying a coin purse, just this big stupid book. So, yoink, and I beat feet to the pier and sign aboard the first ship that's looking for crew. Long story short, with enough time and patience, even a bozo like me can figure out a little magic from that big old book. I joined a good crew and enjoy my life as a seafaring mercenary, trying to keep ahead of the law and maybe make a coin or two for myself. The end. By Flick.
Greetings, tale seekers and story watchers. I am Devon, medieval enthusiast and D&D veteran since my 11th birthday when I received the 3rd edition starter set. Led to a bit of a collection. I will be playing the part of Tayland Wavesinger, human bard and mariner, master of the weaponized sea shanty. Oh, it'd be alright if the wind was at our sails. Tayland is a man slowly being consumed by his own faults. He drinks far too much, and has quite a ruthless disposition against those he dislikes. But he still tries to do what's right when he can. As for his goals, well, I'll let him tell you. Oh, me name is Tayland Wavesinger, and I quickly tell to you of a man that I am a-hunting across the ocean blue, with power over the sea and sky. Believe me when I say that when I finally find the bastard, it'll be his last day.
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man. Down to a sunless sea.
Torque is a Tortle barbarian, presumed to be the sole survivor of the Loggerhead tribe. Even by Tortle standards, Torque is a taciturn individual, never deigning to use 5 words where 2 will suffice, and as such has been less than forthcoming in sharing his personal history with his compatriots. What is known of Torque is that he was discovered on a remote island by a passing merchant vessel, having apparently been marooned there for some years in the wake of a shipwreck which destroyed the rest of his tribe. It is for this reason that Torque holds a special reverence for Desfuna, goddess of the ocean, whom he believes spared his life in the ocean storm that decimated his kin. Having spent the better part of a decade in near total isolation, Torque is unfamiliar with the ways of the modern world, and his social skills are somewhat lacking. It is perhaps for this reason that he has chosen to align himself with allies who are blessed in the gift of gab, as he continues on his pilgrimage, the destination of which is unknown even to himself. Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and I am not a professional voice actor or performer by any means. However, I do have a serious passion for tabletop RPGs, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming game as much as we're going to enjoy playing it.
Welcome back. As Danica proceeds down the thoroughfare with her 4 guards very close at hand, pushing the throngs aside, ignoring the cries around her, fully intent at the end of her path ahead of her. As she gains sight of Tanshu, kind of standing at the crossroads intersection, a couple bridges meet there. And the gathering around her, just patiently listening as Tanshu is speaking of her wrongful capture and imprisonment, the lies that were spread about her. You catch up, kind of following behind as you hear, "Not once did I ever turn my back on any of you. You heard that I was imprisoned. I suppose in a way that was true, but was I held in the cells? No. I was taken into a dungeon, treated as an enemy, tortured. And that one," she points as Danica is coming up the road, "was in on all of it, along with Vale, who, as I said, is not himself. You know that that is not really added. Something has taken control of him. And your so-called High Priestess does nothing. Nothing!" Danica approaches at this point. "Well, the traitor dares show her face. I'm assuming you had some help escaping. Twice now a criminal, traitor, speaking treason against Lord Vale, and now breaking out of prison. Are there any other crimes we should add to the list? Tanshu Vale."
What's the temperature of the crowd as she's saying all this? Like, can we get a feel for whether they're sort of for or against what she's saying?
There's like a stunned silence almost at the moment where everybody's just kind of like watching. There's a couple, you can hear a few like, yeah, kind of with Danica. But there's not much. There aren't people like going along with being like, yeah, Dodge is a traitor. If anything, the more cries, the more support you have heard or felt at this point was for Tanshu. But there is still sort of that people don't really seem to want to speak, almost like a fear, or they're not really sure what to do with Danica, because like she is the high priestess, or they see her as that. So there's this kind of like, now that she's here, even all those voices that were crying out before, a few of them have kind of gone silent now, and people are just kind of like, you know, you're like watching the fight ensue, like watching, okay, what's gonna go down. So there's a bit of a kind of a tense pause, as it were.
A pregnant pause.
There you go. Yeah. Danica kind of steps forward. Now you seek to what? Turn the people against Desfuna as well? Against the temple? Not enough for you to be a traitor? But now what? A heretic? A blasphemer? A rebel? Tanchi's face is just calm. It is not I who am a traitor to Desfuna. Tell me, Danica, what does Desfuna tell you now? You are her high priestess, you are her voice. What does she say? You see Danica kind of laugh. Well, if you have to ask me that, then clearly you have lost her favor. Have no more connection with her. I can see that you have no power. Desfuna tells me little, only to trust. And so I do. I have faith. No matter the circumstance, I will trust her to come through. Where about are you guys at this point?
Torque is going to take a step forward, still in his Ursine disguise, and just shout, "Then why hasn't she yet?"
Yeah, what? Where is Spuda?
I think we're starting to kind of like circle around this, kind of covering all the points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Torque's just fully trying to do some crowd work right now.
Okay. Torque, give me a persuasion check. The rest of you, give me stealth.
Okay.
I'm going to use my inspiration on this.
Okay, go for it.
I get advantage on stealth.
Yeah, you guys do have advantage because of your disguises, because of your seeming.
Fantastic.
Let's see, will this be good or will it be not good?
I rolled very well.
What I get? Well, that's a 14 with advantage, so
Okay.
better than a 5.
So yeah, you hear quite a few voices kind of gathering with you and echoing your sentiment. Show us, prove it. Where is Desfuna? Why doesn't she care? Do something.
I like how I rolled a nat 20 and it's still lower than Flick's stealth.
So Flick and Tailend, easily making your way through the crowd without drawing any attention. The fact that you're kind of moving. Dinar?
I rolled a 16 and a 17, so 17 with a +1, 18.
Okay, so same. Yeah, you're able to kind of maneuver. Pretty much everybody's attention is locked on this standoff. Yeah. Danica just kind of, gives a little bit of a smirk. Friends, you don't need me to tell you of the swarm of undead right next to us on the other side of that wall. Who do you think is keeping them at bay? From my vantage point in the temple every day, I use what divine power Desfuna gives me to turn as many as I can, to keep them from rushing the walls. Take out as many as I can, few here and there, but they are so many.
And what are we to do then? Just sit and wait until your power runs out?
My power will not run out. As long as my faith holds in Desfuna, and my faith is eternal.
Until the entire sea turns black.
Hey, yeah, what about the sea? What about the black tide?
If your faith was true, then this plague would be over by now.
Ooh.
Your faith is not enough.
Crowd starts getting up. And actually, Tonshu is the one who kind of steps forward and just puts a hand up. Friends. And like respectfully, you can see now that there is, with the growing distrust in Danica, Tonshu she's got the air about her, right? That people she holds her hand up and everybody just kind of silences and waits. Mm. You can sense there's an uncertainty. It's not that everybody's necessarily like on her side, but people want to hear what she has to say. There's this hope, right, of maybe she can provide something. And so as she steps forward, kind of pats her hands out. Danica, the people need more than your platitudes. They need proof. Show us. Show us Desfuna's power. Heal someone. Do something. Give us faith. Give us hope. Do anything other than just walk these streets and pretend that you are anything other than what you are, which is a charlatan. And you just hear people like, Danica's face just kind of goes. You want your proof? Traitor? You all seem to want to trust in this ex-high priestess. She comes to you with what? Where is her power? She has none. I will show you the power of Desfuna, the power of the seas. And you see that as she raises her hands, and there's energy starts just kind of swirl around it. And she thrusts her hand out. Talon, you recognize, if not the spell itself, the effect, seemingly much more powerful than what you are used to casting, as a massive gust of wind. A focused energy just like barrels right down the street. And you watch as Tonshu is just like fully thrown back, like knocked off her feet, and not into the water, but like she's thrown a good like 30 feet just down the road, and you see her just going to hit the ground and roll a little bit.
Can I make any sort of motion to try and catch her, or?
If you guys aren't anywhere, so you guys are.
I think Torque's probably fairly near her. The rest of us are, I think, scattered among the crowd, because Torque did step forward.
Yeah, I'd say you probably like she's kind of thrust like way well back to where the crowds are, like onto the other side of the bridge. So unless you're like standing right by her when this happens.
Okay, failing that, I will run after her then.
Okay. You're not the only one. There's a few people that run towards her, whereas others seem to kind of back up and look at Danica.
It's a telepathic bond. I'm like, is it go time? Is it go time? Is it go time? Is it go time?
Oh, please, that doesn't prove anything. Anyone can shoot a gust of wind.
Is
that you doing it?
Yeah, I'll throw a gust of wind at her.
Okay. All right.
It was a very poor choice for her to try and prove she has good power over the ocean.
Tonshu is unconscious. And it looks like she's probably got a broken arm as well. Like she got thrown back 30 feet, like roughly, and like onto the ground. So she's looking very, very rough. There's a number of individuals that are rushing to her. And you can see some of urchins. So likely part of the underground, like some of them are coming in. They even got like, they're ripping out like bandages, ripping out like whatever they can, and kind of rushing right to As you, Talon, as you cast this gust,
Windy weather, boys,
even as you begin to cast it, like you can, there seems to be a sensing where Danica kind of turns in your direction as she senses the spell being cast, and the 4 guards as well kind of watch her, and they all turn. You cast it forward, and it hits something.
That's
around
fine.
Danica.
My point is that she ain't proved nothing.
And she looks right at you and she goes, "You dare."
Oh, I dare to do many things.
Oh, I would love to jump out and try and trip her while she's distracted. That would be great.
Okay.
So Torque is also just going to kind of pick up Tanshu and sort of cradle her in his arms. And while this is happening, he's going to just sort of try to rally the people just to be like, do you see what she's done? Do you see what this woman who claims to be Desfuna's representative does to those who dissent against her? Is this the kind of person who we seek leadership from?
I'm just some rando guy, and I can do that too. That doesn't mean nothing.
What? Why did it do that? Did somebody have 5 clicked on? And then
not me.
No.
Might have been you.
No, I can't click
Mr.
on
DM.
5.
Yeah. Can't
That's
select
weird. I didn't even have anything clicked. So we're gonna do this as initiative out of combat. So before anybody rolls anything, we're gonna use this opportunity to throw in our new initiative system. So in a moment, I'll get you guys to sort of tell me what exactly what skill you're going to basically try to use to get things rolling here. So it might be Arcana, might be whatever it is, but I'm just going to throw these in here.
I can't seem to click on my token.
So you got to click on your name.
No, don't worry about the token yet. I'm throwing you guys in here, and then I'll just have you guys roll. I guess we won't use the custom thing at this point. I'll just get you guys to roll a skill check because this isn't in combat, so I don't have your tokens on the board here. But we'll make this work.
I've got my idea because I would love to since we're sort of in amongst the crowd, I'd like to tumble out into the clearing where I'm assuming the guards are keeping a perimeter around her. Tumble out and sort of get to my feet and then try and whip and trip her. So hopefully to out of the crowd will be an acrobatics check.
I was going to say, yeah, that's likely an acrobatics. So go ahead and roll an acrobatics for me.
Sweet. I mean,
Dinar, what are you doing at this point?
Well, I think at this point Dinar is telepathically telling everybody, "Go," or "We're in."
Go time.
Yeah, go time. And I think I don't know. I guess Dinar is probably gonna try to make his way. He wants to get a surround on Danica. So if Torque is in front of us, where is Talon? Talon, where are you in relation to Danica? So if Torque is at the bridge,
I'd probably be on flanking one of her sides, I'd imagine.
Okay.
Like me and Flick would probably be flanking, and you'd be at the back.
I'd be at the back. I think then Dinar is probably trying to rally the troops. He's saying to the crowd around him,
Okay.
"She's gone too far. She's gone too far."
All right, give me a
need to do
persuasion
something.
check then.
Okay.
We'll call this persuasion for yours.
Okay. So what am I'm rolling here? Initiative.
You're just rolling. You're just rolling persuasion.
Just rolling persuasion. Okay. All right.
Yep. Persuasion is your initiative for this.
I rolled a 7 + 1 for 8.
Okay.
Not very convincing.
Torque, what's your plan? What are you doing here?
Torque will hand off Tanshu to some of the other people there so she can receive some medical attention.
Okay.
And then taking out his maul, he's just going to forcefully but not violently or aggressively just kind of like push himself through the throng of increasingly agitated people to make it to the front where the others are again.
So I'd say this could be either athletics or intimidation, depending on
if I have the
choice.
Do I have the choice, or are you the divine
I'm saying
arbiter
you can use either for this because
I'll say athletics because he's trying to like push through, but not necessarily draw more attention to himself.
Okay.
He's trying to get to the front line.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just make an athletics check.
Yep.
There's a very angry cat at my feet, which just makes this a little bit.
With disadvantage? No.
Yeah.
You're clicking with disadvantage.
You're clicking with this. You're reaching the keyboard with disadvantage.
Also, my character sheet is having some trouble loading, which is also fun.
I'll let you roll that in a second.
Let me just try rolling it on D&D Beyond.
Sure. Talon, what's your plan here?
I am attempting to use my own powers of the wind to effectively just downplay what she's doing and calling out a string of very unpleasant insults and terms which in an attempt to like give like a big showy performance of just I too am a great priest of just mocking and all that.
Elements.
I'm liking to use performance.
I was gonna say, that sounds like performance to me.
I got a 28 on my athletics, by the way.
27 on performance.
Wow, I chose wrong.
No, you just don't have expertise.
That's
and
true.
Danica is gonna use a skill, which I'm not going to say which it is. And that's going to be
intimidation, probably.
Not horrible, but all right. So as things get going here, Torque, you're probably within like rushing distance of Danica. Like if you dash, like if you were to use your full dash, like your movement and a dash, I'd say you could probably reach her through the streets.
I am going to move to cut off one of her potential exit routes.
Okay.
I am not going to go on the aggressive just yet.
Okay.
I am going to use my action to cast Thaumaturgy to amplify the sound of my voice.
Okay.
That's new.
There's a lot of wind going on right now.
Yes. And I'm just going to sort of gesture to the crowd and just say, do you see what this so-called Priestess of Desfuna does to her dissenters? It was Tonshu Vale today. How long until it's one of us?
Ooh.
Is this the person we seek leadership from?
Ooh. Give me persuasion with advantage.
Okay, persuasion.
Compelling argument.
That's
I'll
very
also be rolling this on D&D Beyond because
that's getting people thinking like, hey, yeah, maybe it will be us. Hey.
That's a 14.
14. Okay. Not everybody hears you, but those who are like right close to you definitely seem to pick up the sentiment, and you can hear it spreading around as you kind of make your way forward. You can hear that like, when is she gonna turn on us? And that you kind of hear various iterances of that being uttered. Okay, and you're just like making your way forward.
Yeah, like I'm sort of at the front. I'm just trying to like cut off one of the possible directions that she could flee into.
Okay.
And just kind of try to rile up the crowd some more. As almost sort of like a call to arms.
Gotcha. Okay.
Get a mosh going, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right, Tayland.
Continuing to just blast air, despite the fact it's not doing much. It's more of I'm using it as a show. I'm going to I want to continue to call out about kind of building off of Torque's thing about how proof of mastery over the elements is any mage can do such a thing. We need to see true activity. Now, I believe telepathically we haven't agreed to go full on descent of combatant until we're sure the crowd's on our side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's really angry.
Given initiative, yeah, that hasn't come yet from Dinar.
Yeah, that's sort of where Torque
Okay.
is anyway.
Well, I regardless, the guards seem to have my attention, and so does Danica. So I'm going to cast Mirror Image.
Oh.
I will spread forth water droplets from all around me and form them into watery clones that will replicate my exact appearance while continuing to blast them with air.
Okay.
And just give a little bit of a wink and a smile.
Technical question, Craig. How would you rule this? We are all still... The seeming spell is still on.
Yes.
So do Talen's mirror images look like him? Or do they look like the elf? The seeming elf?
They look like the elf.
Okay.
They take on his current appearance, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Give me persuasion for this one.
Alrighty.
Talen, with advantage.
Can do. 28.
The scent is rapidly growing, yeah, as people are calling out for Danica to calling some, charlatan, fake, fraud, etc. Okay. As this is all happening, another entity joins the fray. As even though you not being part of hearing your telepathy, from you can't even really tell where it comes from, but a crossbow bolt, seeming from an elevated position, just kind of comes out of nowhere and partially bounces off this shield of something that's around Serena, and it seems to kind of deflect it, but it penetrates enough that it actually kind of like skims it. You can see as it just draws blood on Danica, draws blood on the side of Danica's cheek, and she kind of staggers a second. She goes, "You dare! You dare!" And her voice like changes for a second there, and there's a moment of like kind of a flicker. She's like, "Ugh."
Ooh, there we go. That's our in.
Like,
Let's see if we can dare a little bit more and radical.
Do some daring do.
All right, so here's the plan. Paige is going to swoop in, buzz around her head a little bit, give me some help, and then head straight up. And then I'm going to try and trip her.
okay, you can use your trip attack.
Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty daring.
Yeah, I figure I'll just make her look dumb. That's my hope.
Yep. Embarrassing.
Daring do that and
All right.
Good luck, yeah.
Tripping a whip.
DuckTales. Woo!
We are making... I'm doing acrobatics. You oppose with athletics or acrobatics. And mine is with advantage because of my dear Paige. So, got a 26 to beat.
That's a 19.
Nice.
All right, she's on her butt.
So she's like, as the scratch goes by, it's like, "You dare!" And she's like, falls down. And you hear from around,
laugh track.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just sort of whoop it up with the crowd. Like, false, and I'm going to try and start a chant up. False priestess, false priestess, false priestess.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, but
You know what? It gets us to where we need to be.
She's staring daggers at you, Fleck.
Yeah.
And more than that, you see her eyes kind of flicker, and there's like a reddish, purpley black to the eyes. They kind of.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And then she kind of smiles in her regular voice. Guards! Kill anyone who dares defy the will of Desfuna! And she begins casting a spell.
Well, actually, hang on, because I still got my second attack and got tripped one of the guards while I'm at it.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, she's already down. I don't need to trip her again, but I'll try and put one of them on the... Oh, not with advantage, so use the 14.
Okay. They have a little bit better advantage or skill, so 21. Yeah, you still managed to get one down though. She gives the command to the guards to kill anyone who dares defy the will of Desfuna and who would attack her voice in this world.
You heard her. Everybody killed the
spell.
Yep.
Kill the priestess.
Oh, you got counterspell? No?
And then there's
No, that's a useful spell.
kind of like a flicker as she vanishes.
What?
Well. Hard to say what it could be.
Oh, I have counterspell.
I mean,
You see this
You still have
happening.
a reaction. You still have a reaction.
You can use it.
There's nothing stopping you. There's literally nothing stopping you. There's
saw
literally
it
nothing stopping you.
May I use counterspell, please?
You can. What level are you casting it at?
I will cast it at a 4th level, which I probably is not going to be high enough, but...
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, depends on what she's actually doing.
That's exactly it.
I have a feeling she's casting Dimension Door.
In that case,
It could just be invisibility, though.
It could
go
be.
ahead and roll me. I need you to roll. What's your spellcasting ability?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. So make an intelligence check for me, please.
Remember that
Straight
you have
intelligence?
inspiration.
I would use the inspiration.
I'll use the inspiration. Does that just mean I roll 2 dice?
Yes.
Yes.
You take the highest
Okay.
roll.
All right. Straight intelligence. +4.
Ah!
You both suck. That's two. That's 2 7s. One of them was almost like a 15. +4, so 11.
11 is your total.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
You cast it, and you just it kind of fizzles out, and you can see it like kind of connect with the spell that she's casting, but it just is rebuffed and does not stop the spell.
But
Okay,
Dinar,
well,
you can see stuff, so you should be
That's
able to tell
well,
what's
yes,
going
that's
on.
my reaction. So,
Okay,
is it my turn?
it is your turn, Dinar.
The guards don't go before us.
Nope.
Okay. So, am I able to use my fracture ability?
Absolutely. So we get to introduce our chaos dice mechanic.
Yep.
So each one of you has an individual ability that you can use with this, and there are also general ways that you can use this, which are the handout that I gave you as well. So for those of you watching, every character has a pool of chaos dice equal to the proficiency bonus. They can spend one of these dice to heal themselves or an ally, to increase damage that they deal, to reduce damage that comes against them, or to roll a dice and use their special ability. When you use your ability, even if it's not dependent on like a result of the dice, you still need to roll. And then tell me what you roll.
Okay.
What your result is.
All right.
So you can roll it, enact your ability, and then
all right. Well,
a 1 or a 6 will result in something.
My fracture ability is I gain true sight for 60 feet for up to 1 minute per encounter.
That sounds handy.
So I roll a
She's
d6.
Yep.
Okay. I rolled a 1.
Of course.
You rolled a 1, which
What
means
an
that I
interesting
get,
debut.
which means that I get to roll on the suffered chaos table. So if you roll a 1, you suffer chaos. If you roll a 6, you harness chaos.
Lovely.
Does that have to be suffer? Could we just experience chaos?
It is. It is. Roll another d6 for me, please.
Okay, that one screwed me last time, so let's go with that one. A 6.
You take 6 points of damage.
Oh,
That could be worse.
As you call upon your chaos, your fracture, and you get a bit of feedback as you enact your true sight. You can feel the chaotic energy kind of it stings, it hurts a little bit. So you spent one chaos dice or one chaos die, but your ability is now active.
okay. So, is she still there?
She's not.
Are the guards? Are they human, or are they?
No, they are not.
Are they like creatures beneath the armor?
They are not guards. What you see are these fun guys.
Oh, I don't even think I can get that to fit on the screen. Okay, so chat, take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna scroll down.
Goody. That's pretty
Here
horrific.
we go. Oh boy.
They look happy. They enjoy their work.
You see very strange, aberrant creatures under the guise of humans. Just you can hear madness just echoing off of them. They're kind of etching and scratching, just ready to.
At that, Dinar will then use his free action to speak telepathically to the party. The guards are not humans. Kill them.
Way ahead of you, boss.
Will it reveal them if we do that?
You get the feeling that upon dying, that their true form would definitely be.
All right, perfect.
You know what? I'd say Dinar, you know enough about magic that it's basically the same idea. Like they've got some sort of seeming or illusion on, and it will fail. It'll fall when they die.
Kill them and all will be revealed.
D, do they look like aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead? Or all of the above?
Would I know that
they certainly look like one of those things.
Yeah.
Would I know that they are aberrations?
Give me a history check, actually, very quick. Low DC, but
we have fought like aberrations
here
before, so we have some experience.
I'm trained in history, guys, so this is a +8 to go along with my.
These look a bit like Joe Mangler.
I was gonna joke and say I got a +8 to go along with the one I'm gonna roll. I roll the freaking 1.
Nice.
You just can't put that energy out into the universe.
So it's a 9. You roll a 9 total.
A 9 total.
9 total. Okay.
For crying out loud.
You can't remember what they are. You do know that you remember fighting something very similar to these, not identical, but similar at the Void Gate.
Then Dinar is
These
going to
ones seem a little bit more of a evil persuasion, but they are likely aberrant in that case.
Dinar is just going to respond to Flick then. Yes.
Perfect. Hey,
right.
And yeah, so mechanically, Torque, they will have disadvantage trying to attack you as long as I can hold concentration.
So, Dinar,
yeah.
Your use of the chaos pool, by the way, does not constitute an action. So you do have an action still, and you can still act.
Oh. I assumed that would just be an action. Okay.
It is not. It is a separate ability. You can only use it once per turn. You can only use your chaos pool once per turn.
Once per turn or once per round?
Sorry, once per round. I said, yeah, once per round. Yeah.
Round? Mine says encounter.
No, that's your ability. Your ability can last for an encounter.
Oh, okay.
For the encounter, but the chaos dice, you can only use one of them once per round.
I misunderstood. All right. Is Flick within? How close is Flick to the guards?
It's like right by them.
In amongst. Yeah.
I'm just
He's like
wondering
10
if I
feet
was
away.
to throw out a 20-foot sphere to hit the guards, would I also hit Flick?
Absolutely. And probably tail end too.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
So I'm not gonna
well,
do.
I got mirror image. You won't hit me.
I'm not.
He's dropping a fireball that hits everything.
I was gonna
in
drop
the middle of a crowd.
Yeah.
I was gonna
maybe
drop
don't
a
do that.
vitriolic sphere, but I don't think I should drop an acid ball in the
Yeah, that
middle
doesn't
of
sound
the whole
like a
group.
good
So
I was gonna
instead,
say, you do want to keep in mind that you do have like a horde of innocent civilians around.
That's good. Yeah.
so then let's go with a little bit more of a precise missile strike, and I'll do magic missile at a 3rd level. So I'll throw out 5 magical darts.
So there are 4 of these individuals.
I don't know how hard
We'll
they're
call
going
them.
to be to take
We'll
down.
call them north, south, east, and west. That's not where they are, but for purposes,
So Dinar will attack the one closest to him. So he'll attack south.
which should be south. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll just hit all 5 on that one target because I don't know how.
Go
beefy
for
they're
it.
gonna
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
So that's a 2 and a 4 is 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 4 is 14 plus 2 is 16 plus 5 is 21.
Okay.
21 damage to that target.
You light this guard / not guard up just as 5 missiles, just one after the other, bam, 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 hit into it. And at first, people are like freaking out to see this guard just being assaulted. And before the thing even knows that it's dead and has the chance to drop to the ground, its form kind of flickers and shifts, and this abhorrent creature is revealed for everyone. There are shrieks and cries of terror everywhere, just as people start to just like run from here as it just kind of drops to the ground. The other 3 guards look at it and go, "Ah!" All right, is that it for Dinar?
That will be it for Dinar.
Okay. So I'm going to add these guys in. We're going to use intimidation. Okay. Not too bad. So they have popped into there. Danica is gone, however.
It really sucks that I
Torque.
couldn't use my true sight before Danica left. Because she is not human. She's like them, right? She's like the guards. She's
I mean,
not.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah.
like 3/4 of us are also not human. That doesn't really.
Well, but
prove
sorry,
anything.
she's not.
She's not normal.
She ain't what she's. She
She
ain't what
ain't-
she's
she ain't a
appearing to
poison.
be.
She ain't a poison.
That's right. She's some
And
kind
the
of.
lady, she just looks that way. Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, so perfect. Episode title? No. All right, Torque. You're up. You saw this. You saw Danica vanish, and
Yeah.
you saw the guard change as well and become that thing. and die.
Carrying his maul in one hand, with a free hand, Torque will approach the fallen group. He's gonna just grab it like by the back of its neck, the corpse, and just like hold it up in the air for all of the people in attendance, like everyone who's still in the crowd to see.
Oh, it's
And
horrible!
again, using Torque's action to cast thaumaturgy, he will say, "She claims to be a follower of Tisfuna. She claims to be of the faith. But what kind of priestess allies herself with abominations such as this?" And then he'll just throw it to the ground. He'll throw it forward so that it like rolls to a stop in front of the crowd, so everyone can get a much better look at it.
At this point, half the crowd is like running and shrieking in terror, while the other half, the remaining, are like, "Kill her! Kill them!" Yeah, and like not actually attacking the guards because they see this, but they're like, "Yeah, like kill you, yeah."
Dogs behind a fence.
Yeah, is that your action? That's your full.
I mean, that's my action. I can't really do anything with my bonus action except rage and then immediately lose it because I won't be attacking anything this round. So
Okay.
Torque's just gonna continue to try and like go according to plan.
Cool. Okay. We'll go to Talon then.
Okay, well, we've still got 4 guards to deal with.
3.
Or
One's
3,
down.
sorry. There were 4. There are 3.
South is dead. You've got north.
Dead.
West would be. You'd probably be. Well, I guess which side of the street would you have been on? Because Flick was on one side, you were on the other, right? Were you east or west?
I was imagining west.
Okay. So you're not too far from west then.
I would imagine not. All right. Has the crowd dispersed at all, or are they still kind of about?
Half and half.
Okay, so we want to be careful with AoE still.
There's still a bunch of them around. Many of them are. It's chaos. It's panic, right? Like anytime you get a large crowd like that, and like something goes down, people just freaking out, screaming and running, and so.
Alrighty. So I mean, again, most of my things are AoE. There's no civilians around the guards though, are there?
No. They've all anyone who was like right there around these things, just like,
and they're not clumped together at all.
No, they're not far apart. There's probably good like 15-20 feet between them all though, because they were kind of like creating like a diamond perimeter essentially around.
So if I were
Danica.
to hit like right where Danica was with like a outward 10-foot radius, that would hit everybody?
Probably.
But it wouldn't hit any of the civilians?
Wouldn't any of the civilians? I think Torque is right there now though.
But you know.
Does a Torque
whatever
care?
Torque usually doesn't care, but yeah.
Torque usually doesn't care.
Torque will endure.
Let's take one for the team here.
Torque should have raged, and then Talon could freely attack him.
Well, I mean, unless he's dealing bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage to me.
You know I don't. All right. And it's sparks are flying. We're going to cast some Shatter.
Voice.
Passion
It's
strong.
a Constitution save, right?
Yes, it is, sir.
Thunder.
All right, I'll just prep one of those then.
I am the blacksmith singing the hammer and the anvil song.
So from 3, I've got a 16, a 7, and a 2 from their con saves.
And for me, you get a 16.
So a 16 will succeed.
Okay.
So I only take half of whatever nastiness you're throwing.
Whoosh. Ooh, that's an upcast.
Oh, yeah. I'm ending this fight.
33 damage.
Ooh.
Do we round up or down when we divide odd numbers by 2?
Drop fractions, so 16.
Okay. Ouch.
So 33. All right. Yeah. So even the one that saved.
And this will be a loud crack. Like this will be heard.
Yeah.
For well away.
You rip all 3 of them just their bones, and you just hear this cracking sound, just kind of like a cry of unearthly pain, as all 3 of them, one of them already prone from Flick tripping it, and it just kind of like on the ground, just kind of like starts to thrash around. But all 3 guards are revealed as the Gru that they are, as they all are just like immediately killed.
15 men on the whole ship's list.
So yeah, they're toast. With them gone and on the ground, there is just chaos and panic everywhere, as the crowd is now pretty much all of them running. There's a few that are kind of seem to be running towards the lift for the temple, but most seem to be just like, we're getting out of here. This is crazy. We don't know what's going on now. That was not what any of them were expecting, of course. And so now it's like, when it was just like, yeah, we're going to get these humans and this priestess, but now that it's like monsters in their midst, even the toughest amongst them are just like, nope, we're out of here. So everyone's just fleeing.
Is the lift down or up? Or can we
the lift is down.
Awesome.
We should probably get on that.
I was going to say, if she's If
I would
booked
imagine
it,
she's
headed
gone back
up
there.
Probably.
So let's take the easy way up.
Yeah. We need to strike quickly and take advantage of the current chaos before Eddard sends anyone out to get it under control.
Before we
Like
run
he
off,
cares about Lowtown.
before we run off through the crowd, Dinar is going to pull out his copper wire and point up to wherever he thinks the dart might have come, or the crossbow bolt might have come from. To let Serena know that
give me a perception check before you do that.
Okay.
See if you can kind of remember like the shot and see if you can get an idea of where it might have come from.
Okay.
A retroactive perception.
That's only going to be an 8 total.
Okay. Yeah, you have no idea. Rough. I'd say, well, not no idea. You know that it didn't come from like the docks. It came from somewhere on the other side of the street because that was the direction it was going, but it could be anywhere in those blocks. So I'd say you have a general like 50-50.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't on this half of the road, it was on that half, but.
Well, it's only a cantrip, so Dinar will pull out his copper wire and point to where roughly he thinks it came from, hoping to find Serena, and just say, the lift is down, we're hitting the temple. And then he'll carry on.
Okay. You get no response. Whether that's because you missed or she didn't respond, yeah. You just don't hear anything. Okay.
Oh! Kamari!
Yes?
Your eyes in the sky. Do you have any idea where Danica went?
She vanished.
Thanks.
I'm assuming that she teleported because I don't see her in the streets.
Does your arcane eye use true sight?
No. I would have to cast it on myself and then see through it, but I don't. I see a lot of chaos and panic. I can't see everything, mind you. It's not like I see, I can move. I have to move the eye around to see what I can see. I can keep an eye out, literally.
Can you move it once it's cast?
Yes.
Move it to the temple. We're assaulting there.
Not sure I can get that far, but I will try.
Okay.
Those things are crazy looking.
Yes, they are.
Wow, this is wild.
Wrong.
I was not expecting that. I am very glad I am not there. As you are, so I'm assuming the four of you are just like going full rush to the left. Are you maintaining your disguises?
I think we might as well.
Or are you dropping them at this point?
I mean, the only reason I didn't yet is because it takes a full action to dismiss it.
I don't see why we wouldn't just keep maintaining them.
Yeah, because
the longer they don't know it's us, the better.
That's true. Yeah, if Danica's just expecting townsfolk,
Okay.
I mean, if only us four show up, they'll probably figure it out. But
but if it sounds like some of the more
it could be another group
of
of adventurers, right?
This is exactly it. If we show up with a group of other people, there's still a chance that we're still technically unknown.
Yeah, there's no harm in keeping it, so we might as well maintain. It goes for 8 hours, and it's not consecration, okay. So.
All right. In that case, as the four of you in your current disguises rush full tilt for the lift to ascend to the temple and confront Danica for who and whatever she is, that is where we will end this week's session, and we will pick it up with that looming confrontation next time. Yeah, we got a little taste of Chaos Dice, a little taste of new initiatives. So good times getting our new mechanics in. We'll see what transpires from that point on. Thank you so much for watching us, everybody. Please make sure that you are following us. So hit that follow on the Twitch. We're getting up there. We can see we got quite a few people hanging out with us today. And this is a lurk lurk safe space. So if you want to just hang out and lurk, feel free to do so. We're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
But if you are lurking, do consider even hitting that follow if you haven't yet. And still feel free to lurk. But do join us. Make sure that you hit our link tree down below so you can find all of our socials. Come and join our Discord. You get notifications before anybody else on stuff there. We have a Patreon, which is the best way to support us. You can currently get the first issue of Brainstorm Magazine free on there as well. You don't need to be a patron to grab that. You can find us on Twitter. You can find our VODs on YouTube. You can listen to our podcasts. Most places that you can get that you listen to your podcasts, you can search for Elder Brain or Elder Braincast. You'll find us there as well. And stay tuned for our next episode, which is next week. And then we're off the following week, I believe it is. Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. Till then, stay safe, everyone. Happy gaming. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Good time. Take it easy, everybody.